In this video, we will be fishing Sam Rayburn, a trophy lake in Texas. We had some unexpected challenges fishing this lake, so you guys stay tuned. Let's get into the action.
Yeah, I caught
Alright, y'all, we're going to go ahead and do a preview on what we caught fish on when we were fishing in Sam Rayburn. Caught fish on a couple of baits when we were fishing over there. Starting off, number one, for me, I caught a lot of fish on this June bug speed worm. Flipping up in the buckbrush, just kind of casting on points, reeling it in. Caught some fish on this thing. Caught most of my fish flipping up in the buckbrush, though. I'd flip up in there, let it sink down to the bottom, and just start working it slow. And by the time it got to the bottom, I would either have a bite. By the time it got to the bottom, I would either have a bite, or I would just pop it a couple times. Fish would come up and grab it, and I would catch them. Biggest fish I caught on this one when we were over there was around 3.5 to 4 pounds. Caught a lot of fish on this. Very good bait to be throwing. Flip it up in the brush. Main points, flipping up in the brush. Any type of brush or structure. Alright guys, so the way I rigged up this bait when I was fishing, got my bobber stopper, or weight stopper, whatever you want to call it. Got a 1/4 ounce weight. Then I got a 4/0 hook with the speed worm on there. Rig is very good for flipping up in the buckbrush. Caught a ton of fish on it. Very good bait to have in your arsenal. I mean, couldn't go wrong with it when we were fishing. Awesome bait right there. Just gotta have patience when you're fishing a Texas rig. Work it slow. Have confidence in it. Caught a lot of fish on this though. Alright guys, the next bait we caught a lot of fish on was just regular old crankbait. Mainly catching them on with a silver color because they had a lot of shad and stuff schooling up. Bunch of bass were schooling up chasing the shad. Any type of silver color crankbait, you get a decent amount of bites on it. Throwing on main points, finding schools of shad, a little bit of brush, throwing around some trees and stuff. Got a pretty good amount of bites with a silver crankbait. Any brand will work as long as it just got some silver in it. Just take your brand that you trust. But we did pretty good with crankbait too. Alright y'all, the next bait we caught a decent amount of fish on was a chatterbait. Caught some nice sized fish on it. This is the jackhammer right here. Works really good, very good action. Both the fish I caught were around buckbrush and just falling trees down the water. I was working it pretty slow rolling it. Got my little trailer on there. With the shad schooling up, it was a very good bait to be throwing. Worked pretty good. Guys should try these jackhammers out. They are expensive, but they do work. Next bait we caught a lot of fish on was a jerk bait. This isn't the exact jerk bait that we were throwing, but we caught a lot of fish from the jerk bait. Just a lot of them were small, 8 inches, but schooling up on shad, exploding on top, and we were crushing them. A lot of them were small, but we caught one keeper, I think, on the jerk bait. One that was around 15 inches. Jerk bait was doing good, though. Alright, y'all. Next bait is a weightless Senko. Caught pretty good amount on this bait, too. Same thing, up in the buckbrush. A lot of fish in the buckbrush in Sam Rayburn right now. In the coves, up in the buckbrush, flipping in there. Trying to get as close as you can up into the buckbrush. That's how I caught most of my fish. Casting right up in the buckbrush and just letting my bait sink, working it slow. Caught a lot of fish on the weightless Senko. Same thing, 4/0 hook. No weight, obviously. Then your Senko. We'll give y'all a tip. This is not the color that we're catching fish on, but anything with some white in it. I mean, anything that kind of resembles a little shad or something. Catch fish on it. We also caught a couple fish, not very many, on a little bit of a deeper diving crankbait. This one has line coming off of it because I popped it off because my line snapped in my reel. Gotta get some new string, but caught a couple on a little deep diving crankbait. Not a ton, but if you go fish some main points through this, you'll probably catch some decent sized fish on it. Alright guys, last bait for this video was a frog, popping frog. This brand is Spro, and they had a ton of people catching fish on a frog this weekend. They had a college tournament going on, and a lot of them were throwing frogs and smoking them. Frogs were doing really good this weekend, throwing up on the bank close to it. They had big old grass mats just throwing around there, around the buckbrush, around trees. I mean, you couldn't go wrong. They were smoking the frog. Hope you guys enjoyed this video of me fishing Sam Rayburn. Had a couple challenges throughout this video, but we worked through them. We caught a pretty good amount of fish. Had a good time fishing the lake. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope the tips and everything helped y'all. Hit that like button, subscribe button, share this video, comment if y'all have any questions or anything. I'll see you guys on the next one.